Hey friends, we got something to talk about. Okay, let's talk about it. So I was talking to someone recently and they said, well, aren't you the planner? And I said, no, I'm not. And they're like, but you did the decorations. I'm not the planner. So I told them, like, that's the event planner. There's a difference between the event planner and the event designer, as well as the event coordinator. So let's talk about it. I feel like this is something that is commonly mistaken in the events industry. And I feel like it's up to us to let people know what the difference is, who we are, and what we do. Okay. So if you're new here, thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Samia Zellner. Welcome to Faith and Flowers. Let's talk about these three event industry roles. So I have a lot of experience in all three areas where I can tell you there is a difference. I think it's really important that we talk about this because it helps you, especially if you are a beginner in the industry, it helps you niche down and know what it is that you want to provide. You may want to provide all three, or you may want to choose. I believe that after a couple years of being in the business, you'll know what you want to do. I did earlier on and decided to ignore it, but I should not have. I started off as an event planner. The event planner, essentially, you think they do everything, right? The event planner comes, they first meet with the client. They are the brains of the event besides the client themselves. They pick the brains of the client to get an idea of what it is they are looking to host or to celebrate and what they want their event to be like. So the event planner is the one that brainstorms with them probably from the beginning to see what is it that we are creating. Then the event planner will consult with them the logistics and things that are needed to actually make the event come to fruition. They hire any other vendors that are needed for the event, and they are the ones that will see the entire event through. The event planner plans the event, okay? They may start from the very beginning with helping the client choose a date for their actual event. Once the date is chosen, they dig into the details. They provide a lot of value for the client, which is really essential for clients who don't know what they're doing. Not everyone knows how to plan an event. Some people just know that they need to have this event because they have something to celebrate, but they need help with it. So they call an event planner for that. I loved my event planning days. I had so much fun creating systems, checklists, providing samples, and all the things. Event planning can be very fun and very rewarding if you are interested in that. But keep in mind, the event planner is a very important role. You are being trusted by this client to probably find other vendors that are a good fit for this event, that are reputable, that can actually perform what the client needs and perform well. So you want to make sure that you are connecting with vendors at events so that you are now that go-to person and you have someone for everyone, okay? You want to have someone for every need that this client is going to have. You need a cake artist. You need a DJ. You need to know venues. You need to know what venues would best fit this client's event, so that you can make sure that at the end of the day, they are satisfied with where they hosted their event. So if you are a detail-oriented person, you're able to think outside the box, you are organized, you are a people person, then you would be a great event planner. So let's talk about an event coordinator. So essentially, the coordinator coordinates. What does a coordinator do? They make sure that this event that has already been planned flows and that everything goes well. Who should be where at what time? What needs to be placed here? The event coordinator is also the person that the guests will go to if the guests have needs. They are the front-facing person for the event who is working. They have not necessarily been working with the client the entire time. Most event coordinators are day of coordinators, where they come in. Day of is not really day of, but They'll come in towards the end and they will make sure that the event is executed. Okay. So they are the ones on the day of who is talking to the client, speaking with any guests. They are the ones who are being seen. Okay. Event coordinators that is a great position to have because it's not as much responsibility. You don't have the task of planning the event from the beginning. You're able to come in towards the end, understand what is supposed to happen during that event, during that day, and make sure it happens. If there's a vendor that's late, they should have been called by the event coordinator to see, hey, where are you? What time can we expect you to arrive? Will you still be able to execute on time? If this is a wedding, where is the bride? Where is the bridesmaids? Where are the groomsmen? Where is everyone who is involved? The father, the mother. The event coordinator will know where everyone involved in the ceremony and reception is, and make sure that they know where they should be. A lot of times event coordinators will create their own timeline as well based off what the event planner or the client has let them know. They create a flow of the day. So they know the major events that are going on during that event or during that day, and they make sure that they happen. They coordinate the event. So that brings me to an event designer. Okay. So event designer, and I said it like that because I'm a little biased because I love what I do. I have been an event planner. I have been an event coordinator, day of coordinator, love both of those. But when I got to the area of event design, it was just a done deal. I love event design. Being an event designer means that I have been able to tap into my brain and I have been able to create something that is going to wow my clients. So the event designer also meets with the client. They understand the client's needs when it comes to the look of the event. The event designer doesn't have to focus on all the details. They have to focus on what is this event going to look like? Okay. How are we going to wow the client and the guests that arrive at the event? So they consult with the client, they understand their needs, they understand their style, what they like, they know color schemes, they know design elements and things like that the client is looking for. And they also provide their own expertise, create mood boards, whatever is needed to be able to bring this vision that the client has to life with their extra spin on it. The event designer is more of a behind the scenes role, which is why it's appealing to so many. You don't have to be seen if you don't want to be seen. I always tell people I'm more like the ghost of the event. You know, you don't see me. I was there before and I made some magic happen and then I dipped, you know. I do like to stay and talk to my clients and make sure that they're pleased with, you know, what I'm providing. But the event designer does not have to stay at the event. The event designer often comes early. They bring their team and they set the event up. They provide whatever it is that they've discussed with the client. They make it look amazing. The event designer does just that. They design the event. There is a huge difference in the events industry with these three categories, but they can all be one. Some prefer to just do it all, whether that's doing it all as a solopreneur, which I don't fully suggest, but it can be done. I've done that also. Or they have an event planning firm that provides event planning, design, and coordination. By doing all three, you're essentially a one-stop shop, which in my experience can build lasting relationships if the event is successful. On the other end, it's also a lot of pressure. You are the go-to person that is expected from beginning to end to make this event happen, okay? There are so many facets of the events industry, but what I hope you get from this is that they can all be rewarding. I just want you to make sure you are clear on who you want to be in the events industry. What resonates most with you? What are you best at? If you are torn between the three, I would suggest that you take some time, get a notebook, write down your traits and your qualities and what you're good at. Okay, you've already established that you want to be a part of the events industry in some capacity. But when it comes to differentiating yourself between being a planner, coordinator, or designer, what qualities do you have that best fit each one of those roles? I would make a little diagram for yourself just to see. I would also think about your experience. What have you seen yourself doing in the past? Have you been helping family members or church members plan an event? Or are you the person that is helping set up the event? And if you find that while you're setting up that event, you have an eye for the detail, well, design might be something that you might be interested in. If you are a stickler and you're like, why isn't this happening at this time? If you're at a wedding and you're like, where is the bride? You might be a coordinator. You might be good at that. So I would say, take some time, really explore who you are and understand who you want to be in the events industry so that once you do get started, or once it's time to pivot, you know what direction you want to head in. The events industry can be very rewarding. It can be very lucrative, but only if you know what you're doing and who you're doing it for. Okay, you need to know what you are providing and what is required of each of those roles. Where do you fit? I want you to succeed in anything that you do in the events industry. So if you have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments so that we can connect, because I want to see you grow and I want to see you happy and thriving in the events industry. Once again, y'all, thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to my experience, and me being able to share that with you means so much to me. In my 11 years in the events industry, I have learned that I do and feel my best when I'm staying true to myself. And I think that is why I stopped at event design instead of going further with planning and coordination. I'd be lying if I said I didn't do it for a long time. Of the 11 years, the first 5 years, I did it all. After that, I niched down just a little and became more of a day of coordinator / designer. After that, I decided design was my calling. It was where I wanted to park it. It was where I needed to be. It is a huge rush for me to stand in the room after everything's set up and say, wow, we did this. Okay. It's the same for event planning, to step back at the end of the event and say, wow, I was the brains behind this. I thought of this. And at the end of the day, if you've coordinated an amazing event and you said that went off without a hitch, okay, then you are an amazing coordinator. So like I said, each area can be very rewarding. I love all three, and I hope you can figure out what works best for you. This episode is a part of the events industry series, so make sure that you watch either this video or this video if you have not already. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you found value in this, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe, like this video, do the bells, because the series is only getting better. So I want to make sure that you do not miss them. All right, guys, talk to you soon.